Hello and welcome to another episode of the AstraZeneca Women in Tech series. I'm your host, Ben Venton, and today I'm joined by Monique Anderson from our end user services team based in Gaithersburg, USA. Monique, welcome to the episode. How are you?
Thank you so much, Ben. I'm doing great. It's great to be here.
Great stuff. Well, excellent. And I really appreciate you coming on. So to start, what I thought you could do is possibly share a little bit about what you currently do here at Azed, and maybe what a typical day is for you.
Yeah, so great to be here to share a little bit of my story. I'm a virtual meeting producer, so essentially I help to manage and deliver global live events across different areas of the business. I'm often managing, multiple projects and live events within a given week, and basically I'm in charge of delivering these events to a high standard. So I work with wider IT and production teams across various sites and regions to help deliver the live production.
Excellent. So I imagine being on the other side of the camera is very different for you. You're used to being I say I'm on the camera anyway, but you're used to being behind the scenes.
Yes, I admit, even doing this is getting out of my comfort zone a little bit. I definitely like to be behind the scenes. I like to be the one doing the countdown for somebody else to be interviewed. But
yeah, great. Well, that's okay. So what's the most enjoyable aspect of your role? I'm sure there's many, but if you could pick one thing about what you do, what's the most enjoyable bit?
So I want to give you two quick things, actually. I love the global component of my job. I love that I work with diverse multinational teams. I could be working on an event with a team in South San Francisco or in Canada or Mexico, Sweden, Japan, and sometimes on the exact same event with these multinational teams. So I love that component. I also love that I often work with meeting organizers who have a lot of maybe anxiety about how their event is going to take place and how it's going to be delivered. And I love that I can get them to not focus so much on the technology and the hows about how it's going to work, but I get them to go from that place of nervousness to a place of calm and confidence, which I think, really helps with the delivery.
Yeah. I think I can relate to that. I think most people, very few people probably not nervous in front of the camera. Right. So that's a good skill. So growing up then, what did you want to be? Did you know that being in technology was what you ultimately wanted to do?
Absolutely not. When I was a little girl, I loved math actually in high school, and I just loved math. So I decided by the time I got to college that I wanted to be a math teacher. I wanted to be either a high school math teacher or a college professor of mathematics. But I'll be honest, by the time I did get to college, I think it was advanced calculus, differential equations, linear algebra, and statistics that I took all in one semester. And I began to rethink that goal. So yeah, math was something that I planned to do, planned to pursue, but some things changed along the way.
Okay. And you've spent over 10 years in television before here at AZ. What kind of inspired you to go down that route?
Yeah, so when as I mentioned, I was frustrated with math, and I actually took some time off to reconsider what I wanted to do with my career and my life. And I began to remember, all these childhood videos that I used to make, as a child. My dad, had a lot of cameras around him, video cameras. So I grew up with that all around me. And I used to make these home videos with those big cameras on my shoulder. I loved doing that as a child. And remembered I even, when I took some time off from school to reevaluate what I wanted to do, I found some of those old videos. And I remembered at the end of those videos, I used to write my name down in the credits. I used to write my name down on a piece of paper. And it would say camera, Monique, director, producer. And so I began to realize that that's really what my childhood dream and passion was, to work in production in some way. I love the tools and the technologies that surrounded production. And so that's what kind of inspired me to end up, going into television. And it's been amazing journey.
Have you got any particular highlights from your television, career?
Yeah, so yeah, over the last 10 years, before coming to AZ, I did a number of programming. So I did, a lot of programming, cooking shows. I've done inspirational style shows. I've done, things on location. I got to spend 1 month in Puerto Rico doing some programming. Like I remember we did some stuff on the beach. I've done, interviews, lifestyle shows. So I've worked on a lot of different kinds of programming, as a director or producer. So it's been an amazing journey.
Excellent. And have you met any famous people down the line?
Yeah, I actually have. So before coming to AZ, I got a chance to. I'm not going to mention some of the names, but I got a chance to work with. We did an interview actually with Kobe Bryant. It was virtual. He did it via Skype, but there were some other celebrities that we got a chance to interview and meet, and that was always interesting. But at the end of the day, a lot of times, these are regular people, and they get nervous too when they're coming on camera. And so, helping to make them feel confident and calm in front of the camera too was exciting.
Awesome. I like that. So I know a bit about your bio, and I kind of know that you don't know how to swim, yet you've been scuba diving. You're not so keen on heights, yet you've still thrown yourself out of a plane. So I kind of get the impression that and I know you mentioned about that. Yeah, you've been on the other side of the camera, but this is actually kind of pushing kind of challenging your own fears. Is that kind of I guess the impression you are someone that likes to conquer their own fears head on, and has that kind of mentality helped you throughout your own career?
Yeah, so I think life is so much more interesting when you take some risks. And I try to be intentional about conquering my fears. And so, I live my life by this mantra: be bold, be brave, and be humble. And essentially, a lot of times when I'm doing these things that are really scary for me, I feel like I'm breaking through a barrier. And that translates in my career, because a lot of times, the things that I've done, there were times in my career where maybe I was doing something, I was the first person trying it, or I was in a space where maybe I didn't look like the other people on the team, and so I was breaking through certain walls. But I just feel like life is so much more interesting when you really are intentional about conquering some of conquering some of those fears. And there's a quote that says something along the lines of, like, the person that you become in the pursuit of your goals is sometimes so much more important than the goal itself. And so I think it is important to be intentional about finding ways to do new things that stretch you and make you grow, because it does translate into other areas of your life sometimes when you don't even realize that it will.
Wow. I mean, that is very inspirational. And I like that quote: be bold, be brave. What was the last piece?
Be humble.
Be humble. I like that. That's really good. So you've had a great career, and you've kind of transitioned from television into IT. What made you join AZ?
So I was at a point in my career where I was open. I was, curious about what else, existed out there. I was eager to just explore maybe some new ways to utilize my skills. I loved production. I still wanted to be a producer. I still wanted to see how I could, use that love that I have. But I was ready for a change, and I wanted to, just see how some of my skills could be transferred to another role. And so, I applied for the job that I have now, had a great conversation with my manager at that time, and was just really excited about, the company, AstraZeneca. I love the core values. I was very attracted to the core values of the organization, still am. And it just was the right opportunity, the right fit, the right change for me at that time.
Brilliant. And how's the business actually helped you in your career then?
So, I mean, I love, I talked about the global component of my job. I love that I get a chance to work with different people in all areas of the business. I have been challenged and stretched in a lot of ways. I'll admit that when I left working in live TV and being in that live control room, I thought that I was leaving some of that adrenaline rush that came from the intensity of doing a live program. But there's a great level of importance to the live programs that we do here. They have to be delivered to a high standard. And so I'm still being, I'm still pushed. There's still a good measure of adrenaline and excitement that goes into the live programming that I get a chance to be a part of. So I still feel stretched. I still feel challenged. I love that I work with, different teams a lot of times on different events. So when I worked in TV, I was pretty much in the same control room every day, working with the same team. But now with AZ, I'm working with different people a lot of times on different meetings. So that stretches me and challenges me, and keeps me very, very, very excited and interesting every day.
Great. So now the fact that you've been on this series, or now on this series, whether you like it or not, you are now a role model. and so that I hope there are so many people out there that will listen to your story and take some real inspiration from it, and particularly some of the kind of your philosophies and mantras on life, which I think many people will take away and take some inspiration from. What advice would you give to other women out there who may be interested in pursuing a career in tech?
Yeah, so I would definitely say, apply. Apply to those jobs that may seem challenging. Maybe there's a 3-page job description. Maybe you don't understand everything on it, but apply anyway. Put yourself out there. Be willing to have those conversations about what you do, what your interests are. And, even if the job doesn't seem like it's targeting you, you may not feel like you're the best candidate or the strongest candidate, but you just might be. So don't hesitate to apply, to just, be willing to see what opportunities exist and to believe that you could possibly be the dream candidate that employer is looking for.
Excellent. Thank you for that. So my last question, and we've flown through this. What more do you think that we could be doing to support greater female representation within technology?
So yeah, great question. So I think it's important, first of all, to call out when we see that the people that work in IT look a certain way. I remember watching cartoons from the time I was young, or even now on TV dramas. Sometimes that person that's in IT, behind the curtain, so to speak, maybe they're the person that's doing the investigating or the troubleshooting. They often look a certain way. They may not look like me. They may not look like somebody that's watching this right now. But the reality is that people that work in IT, we have all different kinds of backgrounds. We all look different, but we all may share the same passion. So I think we need to call out when we see that these stereotypes about what somebody looks like or what somebody should look like who works in IT and is successful in IT. And then the other thing I think we need to do is just raise the awareness about the breadth of opportunities that exist within IT. It's not a one size fits all. There are so many types of jobs within IT that you can get that can be, thrilling, exciting, creative. So I think we just need to raise the awareness, and, what you're doing here with sharing stories and the different women who are in IT and the different types of IT positions that are available, I think is, superbly helpful.
Excellent. Some really good comments there. And I completely agree with the breadth of roles within IT. And I think your example particularly is, you've come from a very different and unique route into the IT tech world, which I think just proves that you don't have to go and do a computer science degree and be a coder to get into IT. There are so many different roles out there, and there is no standard route in, which I think is the main thing I take away from that. Yeah, absolutely. Brilliant. Well, that brings us to the end of the episode. So Monique, thank you so much for coming on and also for facing your own fears, because I know being on this side of the camera is not what you're used to. So I really do appreciate that, and I hope everybody kind of has really taken some kind of inspiration from your story and some of your comments. And to the viewers, thanks for watching again. And if you've enjoyed the session, please give us a like or share. And if you haven't already, please make sure you subscribe to the series for all the latest episodes. But in the meantime, please do take care, and we'll see you in a few weeks' time. Bye.
Bye-bye.